Student debt is the way that we pay for higher education in America, and college should be free and there should be no student debt. But until that happens, it's better to go to college than not go to college. You just need to be careful where you go, watch how much you borrow, and make sure that the program you're pursuing is valuable.
You're watching The Big Deal, where we are continuing to analyze President Trump's tax and spending plan and what it will mean for families across the country. Today, we're taking a look at the important changes to the federal student loan system that might affect you. Nearly 43 million people in the United States have federal student loan debt. That's about 1 in 6 Americans, with a total debt exceeding $1.6 trillion. Under President Trump's spending plan, borrowers can expect major changes to the federal student loan system, including fewer repayment options, the phasing out of the Biden-era SAVE plan, and tighter borrowing limits. At the start of this month, borrowers enrolled in the SAVE program, which offered lower monthly payments, began to see interest accrue on their student loans. Spectrum News reporter Sasha Strong spoke to one student at the University of North Carolina in this report.
I'm currently the research assistant for the Jewish Oral History Archives project.
UNC Greensboro graduate student Catherine Mazer says she took out about $19,000 in subsidized student loans for her undergraduate degrees from UNC Asheville.
To my knowledge, it is a federal loan, so I know the interest is extremely high, and thankfully, again, I'm a grad student, so kind of get a furlough for that.
According to the Department of Education, more than 1 million North Carolinians have student loans and owe an average of nearly $39,000. More than 269,000 people in our state originally enrolled in the SAVE plan.
I also have a multitude of friends, both in undergrad and grad school, that are going to be affected by the changes. So it's just going to be a lot of a hassle for a lot of people.
The federal student aid website says the interest rates on subsidized student loans is 6.39%, making interest about $1,200 a year after graduation.
If you've been ignoring your student loans, you need to get on it, because the last thing you need to do is default or be delinquent.
Financial aid director at UNCG, Don Harrod, says right now the best option is to get in touch with your loan servicer and begin a new repayment plan.
Don't avoid it, don't delay, get it done as soon as you can, because it will have dire impacts on you later.
Joining me now with more on this is Michael Pierce. He is the executive director and co-founder of the Student Borrower Protection Center, a nonprofit organization that focuses on protecting student loan borrowers. Mr. Pierce, thanks for joining me. Now, the biggest change that I can see here is the phasing out of former President Biden's savings on a valuable education plan, the SAVE plan. Explain to us why it was a lifeline for so many borrowers and what it's going to mean when the program ends in July 2028.
Student debt poses costs on families. They have to pay a bill every month. They get interest that stacks and stacks and stacks. And the Biden era plan let people pay what they could afford. And for middle class borrowers, that payment could be as low as $0 per month. That's all going away. And we estimate that a typical family of 4 is going to pay more than $5,000 a year in extra costs on their student loans because of this one change.
Wow. There's another big change that's going to affect students going forward. I know that there are new lower borrowing limits included in the spending plan. Experts say that it's going to make it harder for lower income students to attend graduate school. And I was looking at the numbers. I mean, these lifetime limits, $100,000 for most graduate students, $200,000 for professional schools like, medical school or law school. Are these programs more expensive than that, or are those limits going to work for future students?
This is a hope and a prayer that somehow this is going to lower the cost of college, because right now, professional students, highly trained healthcare workers, doctors, lawyers are going deeply into debt to pay for those programs because they are so expensive. There is no plan to make sure that people that don't have money from their parents can still go to college in this environment.
Well, let's talk about some repayment options. I know that new borrowers are only going to have 2 plans to choose from instead of the current 7. What are the highlights that future borrowers are going to need to know about?
The most important thing for people that have debt today is that some of those other options will stick around for a little while. But if you're going to school right now, you're a new borrower, you'll have two plans to pick from. One makes you make a level monthly payment based on how much you borrowed, and the other is based on your income, but it's not as good of a deal as what used to exist. So if you lose your job or you make very low income, you'll still have to make a monthly payment. Interest will still continue to accrue, and you will end up having to pay thousands of dollars more per year than somebody who borrowed to go to school a decade ago.
I see a sign on the wall behind you about student debt cancellation. Is that has that ship sailed? Is that still a possibility for some of my viewers?
So federal law gives you a right to get your debt canceled. You have the right to get your debt canceled if you work in public service. You have the right to get your debt canceled if you have very low income over a very long period of time. If you're disabled and you can't work, you have these rights to get your debt canceled. They didn't get changed in the big, beautiful bill. Those rights to debt relief exist. 5 million people have had their debts canceled under these older programs just in the past 4 years. And we expect that will continue. And if it doesn't, we're going to take the Trump administration to court.
And what's the best place for people to find out more about whether or not they're eligible for cancellation?
So we have a website that we run with a number of partners called cancelmystudentdebt.org. You can learn about your rights under current law. There's also a ton of good information on the federal government's website, even now, at studentaid.gov.
And we don't want to discourage people. Does student debt still make sense for a lot of people who are trying to get higher education?
Absolutely. Student debt is the way that we pay for higher education in America, and college should be free and there should be no student debt. But until that happens, it's better to go to college than not go to college. You just need to be careful where you go, watch how much you borrow, and make sure that the program you're pursuing is valuable.
Okay, very sound advice. Thank you very much, Mike Pierce. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.